I'll be back in a bit. Alright, should see the periapts rounding out here any second. There we are. Apple app's gonna get a little higher than I wanted. That's alright. Really close to that satellite, which I don't like. 105, 103. Pretty decent, we'll take that. So now we are in orbit. We got 555 oxidizer left, 252 liquid fuel, which on the nuclear engines, that's more than enough to get us to the station, even though I forgot to set my launch window. So and there is MB. Good evening, sir. 1.2 intercept, nice. 45-second burn to get there. You know, for screwing up my launch window, that's still really good. So we'll start our burn at about negative 23 seconds. No problem, sir. Wasn't quite sure if I was gonna get the stream up right at 9 or not, but managed to do it. Okay, get ourselves lined up here. So for those of you just now joining, we've got the Starship off the runway and into orbit, about 300 liquid fuel left, and now we're headed for the rendezvous with the space station for refueling. After that it is on to Minmus and the moon. There we go, 1.4, I'll take that. So rendezvous with the space station is all set, got 190 fuel left still. For successful SSTO that I've built that has the nuclear engines on them, they are extremely heavy. I think they're probably the heaviest thrusters in the game. Maybe the big ones outweigh them a little, but not by much. So we're going to get spun around here and get ready to slow ourselves down. There we go, about 15K distance. Go ahead and throttle up and get out of map view here. Under 10K now. Oh, Lexi, you know mortar very well. Alright, so still moving towards the station at about 33 meters a second. Perfectly fine. We're going to close this gap and burn the rest of that speed off. There's the lag spike from loading. Starting to be able to see the station there. So 1.4 kilometers away now. There we go, get ourselves up to about 10 meters a second. Close this gap and we'll go into translation mode here in a second. Alright, so there we go, down to about 500 meters, so we'll burn the rest of this speed off. Alright, so main engine cut off. All of our main thrusters are down, so we're going to switch over to docking mode. Up to about 2 meters a second here and make our final approach on the station for docking. So our approach is going really well. Got a nice straight trajectory towards the station here. Not a lot of adjustments to be made as we're coming in. I think the main problem with this ship at the moment is that I'm going to need a bigger station. This ship is literally the length of my space station, and the wingspan is the width of the station with the docking arms, so I think it is time for an upgrade. There we go. Got target set for the port that I want. So far, the only two main issues I've really noticed with this ship is when it is when it's low on fuel, it does tend to sway around a lot. Which, maybe if I reconfigure my RCS thrusters a little bit, maybe I can combat that. And the ship has to be pretty much fully fueled to re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere. If you come in with the tanks running dry when you hit Atmo, it just goes ballistic. Alright, gonna bleed speed off down here, down to about 1 meter a second. Get our docking port opened up there. Go ahead and bleed the rest of our speed off here for a minute. And there you can see the moon in the background, which is going to be our next target here as soon as we get refueled. Ha ha ha. There we go. I gotta work out that no swing's a bit much, and actually I think I know how to correct it now. Love you too, dear. See you here soon. Alright, so let the refueling begin. Gonna take a minute as the entire ship is one giant fuel tank now. Evan was here. Apparently the stream has gone down for him again. Yeah, very entertaining. Watching him play the Borderlands prequel this afternoon has kind of got me itching to play Borderlands again. So now we're stagger left and right. Good evening, son. How's it going? Sorry. So we'll start staggering right and left here so we don't sway the station too much. Hey, how's it going? Got Siren with you, or past her bedtime? Right on. Yeah, I didn't know what time she went to bed. Interesting, we've hit the dark side of Kerbin here, and I don't know why. There we go, station lights were off. Alright, so liquid fuel's all transferred. Top off the mono tanks here, and we are good to go. Normally I stream on Monday and Wednesday nights. Maybe adding a weekend night here soon. I know now a week from Saturday, on the 25th, I'm going to be streaming from 8 a.m. Saturday until 8 a.m. Sunday, 24 hours straight, so... Real quick before we undock, if you look here, like I was saying a few minutes ago, you know, here's the end of the nuclear engines on the ship, and of course the station ends right here. This is my orbital shuttle, but if you look, this SSTO is just as long as the space station. When you flip around, you can see that the wingspan on it goes just as wide as the station width, so starting to build the bigger stuff like this, it's definitely time to upgrade the station. Time to build a bigger one. Yes, we will be there. Okay, RCS on. And we are clear of dry dock. There we go, nuclear engines are up. And we are fully fueled and ready to go. So So let's see here. There's the moon. Let's go right about here. This should do it. Nice, 533K intercept. Nice. Alright, so 4-minute burn. So we'll time warp up here and we'll start at -201. All right. There goes the space station. It's probably Twitch is what it is. A lot of streamers have been having issues with it going up and down, and a couple of people in here tonight have already been telling me it's been pretty laggy. Hey, how's it going, Hike? Nice to see you again. Kind of a long burn with these nuclear engines, but they don't use any fuel at all. By far the most efficient in the game. So I'm flying well so far, thank God, because I've been working on this ship since the day that .25 released, and it was pretty frustrating getting my thrusters right and getting the fuel management right. So to finally be taking her out for the initial shakedown run feels pretty good. Still got a lot of work to do with it. Yeah, you know, they're horribly efficient, but you just can't move anything of weight with them. The only thing I use ions are my satellites. Unless you run the what is it, perpetual engines mod. Those make the ions just ridiculously strong, but running stock like I do with no mods, the ions are good for little satellites, and that's it. And even still, you're not gonna really take them anywhere. The ions pretty much on satellites are still only good for inclination changes. You know, at least in stock now, I tried to take a bunch of the gray metal square panels, and I put like 25 of those together and put an ion engine and ion fuel tank on each single panel, and I couldn't even get it to lift off the launch pad. It just sat there. So about 40 seconds left on our burn here. So it looks like we're probably going to get orbit around the moon with about 2/3 of our fuel. That's not bad at all. And there we go. Ended up with about a 700 periapts. Not bad. So real quick before I time warp here, you can see the... Oh, that's my fuel carrier that we've just passed. So hike before I time warp, give you a little tour of the new ship here. All the new parts. Got the MK2 docking port here, the inline one. Very nice as it carries 75 monopropellant in it. So got a small cargo bay, which here soon when I'm done with this, then we're going to build a little rover that's going to go into it. A bunch of structural air intakes. Got a few of the ramjets and the opens. MK2 crew cabin that holds 4, and then the MK2 inline cockpit which holds another 2, and it actually carries 25 mono on it as well. 4 Rapier engines, and then the 2 nukes. And I love the lights, the way they've done the lights on the new MK1 and 2 parts. You can toggle those lights on and off, and you can hotkey them to your light buttons. So really neat effect. And the MK3 parts, they have confirmed the MK3 parts are going to be getting redone to be brought in line with these in 0.26. And then also, if you've heard of the fine print mod, adds more contracts to the campaign. They have confirmed that for 0.26 they're actually going to be adding the fine print mod into stock. So if you play campaign mode, you'll have a wider variety of contracts to do. No, don't do that to me, man. Don't play with me like that. Oh, they're changing the designation. I don't care about that. As long as there's a new patch, I don't care. They can call it whatever they call it. 0.26, 0.9 beta. As long as it's still in development, I don't care. It is a very important point, though. If they're doing that, then I would highly suggest anyone who wants the game and does not have it better buy it quick, because once this thing goes gold, and I'm not saying it's not worth it either. I mean, this game is by far worth more than most of the games out there that you pay $60, $80 for. Heck, by the time they're actually done with this and they say the game is actually complete, I'm actually probably going to feel pretty bad for how little I feel I paid for it. Oh, the whole game's worth it. And I mean, their dedication... their dedication to their community is just outstanding. The fact that every time we get a new release, you know, that they have the bug fix hot patches out within 24-48 hours. I mean, I'm playing right now smooth on 64-bit, and you couldn't do that on 2.5 release day, but they had the patches. So now we're doing the retrograde burn to complete our orbit around the moon. So we're going to settle in here. I got my satellite about 150, so we're going to do about a 200. I'm going to do an inclination change there, so let's shoot about 300k. There we go. Yeah, I'll tell you, I haven't gotten terribly far in this game in terms of getting out into the universe. Oh wow, look, there's Tylo, Lathe, and Ike. That must be new for 0.25. I've never actually been able to see that before. But as far as I have gotten in this game, I owe Scott Manley a lot. Great videos, great way of explaining things. Oh, I'm not that close. Yeah, the accent makes his videos quite entertaining. But just his knowledge, you hear him talking about some of this, explaining some of the stuff that they've done in real life on the ISS and everything, and just his knowledge level of aerospace is just insane. So there we go, not bad. 292 by 297. Inclination's off a hair, but pretty good overall. I should have gotten a picture of it at the space station. Oh well, we'll get one on the way back. Alright, so get us a little screenshot there. So now we need to line ourselves up with Minmus. Oh god, don't even get started on that. I don't understand people's rage over that. So let's see. I probably should change the inclination at Kerbin actually. It's probably about 70 degrees. There we go, I kind of see it there. Alright, so for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a maneuver node burn here. And we're going to change our inclination from being horizontal And we're going to angle it up about 30-40 degrees here to try to match the orbital path of Minmus, which is the second moon to Kerbin. And once we've got our orbital paths pretty much in line, then we can do our burn to intercept. So about a 14-second burn, so we'll start at about -7. And not this time, I don't have the VTOL installed yet. There we go. And that should be pretty good. So let's see. I wonder. There we go. That looks about spot on. So let's see here. Probably there. Whoa. You know what, we're ways away. There we go. Let's try here. Okay, so that's not going to let me do that the way I wanted. So what we'll do is we'll have to get ourselves out of the sphere of influence for the moon here. Nice. So we'll get ourselves broke away from the moon's sphere of influence. And back around Kerbin. After that we should be able to do our intercept. Knew I was going to do that. Oh, well, it's alright. Since we're not returning it, it doesn't have to be exact. There we go. Alright, so we're back around Kerbin. We have to fix our inclination again now. Hey, how's it going, Cactus? Why is that? She's played a little bit, not a whole lot. Sorry guys, I need to grab something out of the oven here. Give me just 2 seconds. Alright, very sorry about that. Alright. Nah, not so much. Alright. Alright, there's my point. Alright, I'm sorry, one more second, the oven won't shut up. Alright, once again, apologies about that. Alright. There we go, that's what we're looking for. Hopefully we have enough fuel to do this. We will see. We may not make it back. Yeah, you know, I've gotten so used to it now, he goes to bed and I don't even take him down. There are missions. Those are in the campaign mode. I will be doing campaign mode during the Extra Life 24-hour stream on the 25th. Right now I'm playing in Sandbox mode. In Sandbox mode you just build and do whatever you want. But in campaign mode, which you'll see when I do the 25th, you've got contracts you accept to go and collect scientific data, rocks, soil samples, crew reports, and stuff like that from different locations. And you're limited on the parts you have, and the more science that you earn, the more money you will earn, and the more parts you will unlock. And by the way, for that stream I am going to be doing campaign in hard mode. No quick saves, no restarts. And there we go. Let's see, sending by 2. So we're going to time warp around here. That might work. Not quite. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a couple of maneuver nodes here until we find our intercept point. No. Oh, I bet it's because I've still got to set as target. Oh, that's not good. It's going to try to get me back in the moon's sphere of gravity. Not yet. I am getting closer, which actually, thank you for reminding me of that. For everybody watching, once again, October 25th, a week from Saturday, 8 a.m. until Sunday at 8 a.m., I will be playing KSP for 24 hours straight for the Extra Life fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network. My goal this year is to raise $250, and 100% of the money I raise goes to Children's Hospital in Dayton, Ohio. There is the link to my page for anyone who would like to go on and donate. If you do go and donate, make sure you put in your email address, and within a few minutes they will email you a receipt for tax deduction. Alright. So now we just need to keep kind of playing with these maneuver nodes until we get an intercept. As soon as we get an intercept, we'll do the burn and we will go to the second moon. Ah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Alright. So for anyone who is just now joining us, this is my newest creation. This is the Stargazer class starship. Holds a crew of 6, has a small cargo bay here with a docking port inside. I will be building a rover after finishing up a couple of things on this that will sit in there. 4 Rapier engines and 2 of the nuclear engines. And right now we're doing the shakedown run. We took off of the runway at KSC, refueled at my orbital space station, and flew to the moon. And now we are setting up our burn, and we are going to rendezvous with Minmus, which is the second moon. It's a SSTO spaceplane, single stage to orbit. The Rapier engines are dual function. They are air intake jet engines, and when you run out of air, they switch into orbital thrust. And then the nuclear engines are orbital thrusters. So it's a little bit of both. And what you'll see is when we leave Minmus, as long as we've got enough fuel, which I hope we do, we are going to return to Kerbin. We will dock at my space station a second time where we will refuel again, and then we will take it back and land on the runway at KSC. Hopefully without crashing and killing our pilots, which are Jeb and Bill. So 36-second burn. So we will start the burn at negative 18 seconds. As long as I don't overshoot here, which we can't afford to do this time. Okay, throttle is up. And you can see here, Cactus, the 2 nuclear engines are burning. That's what we're running off of right now. Fuel consumption is just great. Really happy with how it's flying right now. And there we go. We are set up for an insertion to Minmus. And real quick here, before I time warp up to Minmus, for some and anybody else that hasn't seen, so this is Kerbin. This is the planet you start on. This is the moon. And then right now we're heading for a rendezvous with Minmus, which is Kerbin's second moon. So that's home. Now as we scroll out more, all of these unknown objects are asteroids. And at some point in the future, once I get a little bit better at it, what we're going to do is put the claw device on a ship, and we're going to actually start capturing some of these asteroids and bringing them back to Kerbin for study. Now as we go out a little bit more, here is Kerbal, which is the sun, Moho, Eve, Kerbin is the 3rd rock from the sun, Duna, which is essentially Mars. Then you've got Dress, Jewel, and Elu. And each of those planets has a certain number of moons for each of them. I can't remember which it is. I believe it's Jewel actually has like 9 moons. There's one of them with just like a ridiculous amount. So there's a quick tour of the solar system for anyone that hasn't seen it. There's Gilly way out there. It's one of the moons. Very short encounter with Minmus here, so got to be very careful with my time warp, or I'm gonna send us flying off. You'll see the lines change color. Here we go. We are now in the sphere of influence for Minmus. Periapps is at 2 million. Wow. So now we're going to set ourselves retrograde and start our burn to capture here. And this is the one part of the fuel consumption that concerns me, is I should have done a better job on the intercept there, but these engines have 800 ISP, so they're the most efficient you can use while you're in space and in vacuum. Wow, look at that. So down to about 200k there. Ooh, almost screwed it up. There we go. Wow, look at that go. Two by 192, not bad. Not bad at all, and we're still above half. We're not even at 50% fuel loss yet, so overall, all of the frustration and the countless hours of work on this ship since 2.5 release has really paid off. I'm really happy with the performance of this. So since we're here and we got so much fuel, we're gonna drop this down to about a, I don't know, let's get nice and low. Let's get down to like 50K. So let's stop at about 60 there. Well, and the real test will be here to come real soon. I'm actually designing this ship to, I'm not going to get that close yet. Last thing I want to do on such a beautiful run is screw it up by smashing into a mountain because I'm flying at a 2K orbit. I mean, it make a great VOD. There we go, 60 by 62. So once again, we'll kill the UI for a second here, snap off a few screenshots. So there you go, some nice big craters there. And once again, if anyone's new to KSP, all of the moons and all of the planets you can land on. I believe there might be one that is a gas giant that you cannot land on, but other than that, pretty much everything in the solar system you can easily land on. Joule, yes, that's it. Joule is the gas giant. Alright, so we're going to set ourselves up here a burn. And we will break free amendments and to Kerbin. There we go. Didn't really need the node. Yeah, I think it's you can survive through upper atmosphere. I think it's when you hit medium atmosphere, everything just incinerates instantly. Alright, so here we are back around in orbit, around Kerbin itself. Very large orbit. So far our mission elapsed time is 42 days, 13 minutes and 45 seconds. And now for the long, slow burn. These engines are amazing. Actually, it's not going to be that long at all. So we're Apple Apps is almost 45 million. We're going to bring our Peri Apps down to probably about 2 million, 2 to 3 million. Moon intercept. And there we go. Sorry, I had to check the score on my game. Too much attention to flying and not enough to what's going on. By the way, anybody that does go back and watch this this video on demand afterwards, though, good friend of mine in real life jumped into the channel as soon as I started, and I launched the plane, turned off my air intakes, and kicked on my orbital thrusters too soon and burnt all my fuel up. So kind of funny. Had to restart the flight. You're in KC, really? I'm watching the Cardinals and Giants game right now, and I am actually originally from Springfield. And Springfield is where Mortarbound and where my good friend Lexonomicon, who was in the chat earlier, that is where they're at currently. Yes, sir. Yeah, born and raised in Springfield. Was there for 25 years, and now I'm in Ohio. Been up here for almost 10 years now. So next time I'm actually planning on being back, I'll have to yell at you, and we'll have to meet up at some point. Just moved from Springfield or from KC? Okay, so nice. Alright, so we are officially at the halfway point on our fuel tanks. 52 days mission elapsed time. Not bad at all, considering we have left the runway, docked with the station, gone to the moon, gone to Minmus, and now we're on the last leg as we are returning. Fuel is starting to take a pretty hard hit, though. And you can feel it, she is starting to get kind of wobbly. So we are going to bring our Peri-Apps down to about 200, about 210 here. Kind of worried about the burn to bring the Apple apps in. Like I was explaining at the beginning of the stream, The two real main issues I need to focus on with this at the moment is that it gets very, very squirrely as the fuel tanks are running dry, and it needs to be at least almost completely full of fuel before you re-enter the atmosphere. I found out this afternoon that if I try to re-enter Kerbin's atmosphere with the tanks dry, it will go just nuts on me. Definitely gotta have the tanks full for the balance for it to fly in the atmosphere. If they're empty, it just goes nuts. Yeah, it's when I hit Atmo with about 400 fuel this afternoon, it was worse than an asymmetrical spin. I mean, just all over the place. You know, at that point there was so little fuel in it, compared to what it'll hold. I don't even think that would have really made much of a difference. Alright, so about 300 fuel left. We're going to fix our inclination here. Looks good. And as soon as we get our inclination fixed, then we will finish reducing our orbit down and we will rendezvous with the station. And then the true test begins. So 50, we'll say 58-second burn. So 25, we'll start at -29. And throttle up. No, the dramatic music, that'll be when we leave the station and go for the runway. While I have, honestly, out of about 630 hours played, I have probably spent, honestly, the last 250 hours played focused mainly on space planes. I don't know, Hike, if you've seen it or not. I've got one I can show you. It's a single jet engine with two very small orbital thrusters. I call it my micro space plane. Extremely tiny. Only carries 360 fuel. And there we go. And you know, in the course of learning how to build them, how to fly them, how to return them, I've probably landed about 150 times successfully on the runway. The first runway landing I attempted to do live on Twitch, and it ended very poorly. Well, actually, it ended rather well. The guy survived. He was all that survived. The rest of the plane was just completely destroyed, but he did actually make it, so... There's the space station there. So nice approach actually on it, coming up behind it. That will help out. Giggity. I like to put myself back in around a 95K orbit. That seems to be about easiest to do rendezvous with my station. The station's sitting at 125K. Alright, there we go. 94, 95. $178 liquid fuel left. Whew. .6. I can get it closer after we do the burn. I was kind of questioning the amount of RCS fuel I've got on me, but actually it looks like that's going to work out pretty well. So we got a minute and 6. We'll start at -33. Just in case if anyone's wondering, the reason why I'm always starting my burns negative is when you're doing a maneuver node, if you really want to hit your designated target, you want to do half of your time before the node and half of the time after. So out of a minute and 6 seconds, we're going to do 33 seconds negative, 33 seconds positive of the node. A lot of people will tell you, start the burn on the node. If you do that, you're never going to make your intended target. You will do the burn and then you will wonder why in the world, you're nowhere close to your intended target. Throttle up. So we're still a little off there, but pretty close. Throttle up just barely. We're just going to manually bring that down. Overshot. Now the funny thing is, I would like to note that we have pretty much the same amount of fuel approaching the station as we did initially after liftoff. So we spent as much fuel getting this plane into orbit as we did leaving the station and going to the moon, to Minmus, and now back. Alright. So we're very low on fuel though. 100 oxidizer. 89 liquid fuel left. As long as we can bring ourselves to a stop, we can use RCS to get there, but this is actually going to be pretty tight because we're going really fast right now. We're going to go ahead and throttle up now to start slowing down. is going to be really tight. 40 fuel left. 250 meters a second to bleed. I don't think we're going to make it, folks. No, we are not. And tanks are dry. 91 meters a second to bleed. We'll see if we can do it with RCS, but I highly doubt it. Maybe. Maybe. No, 'cause I can't do that either. Yeah, by the time we get slowed down, it's going to be too far away to do it. Well, that is a shame. Still trying. Still trying. 75 meters a second. I don't know. If I can get the speed bled off under 10K, I might be able to pull it off. Ah, it's going to take forever, especially since I can't time warp. Almost makes me want to load up my orbital shuttle and come get it. 50 meters a second. 100 mono left. Sad part is this might actually work. Only 12K away. $75 mono left. Kind of makes me wish I'd put more RCS thrusters on. $65 mono. 30 meters a second. Distance now of 13.5 kilometers. Yeah, see, we're down to 28 mono. There's no way. Good evening, Worm. Yeah, I hate doing that. I do that all the time watching videos and stuff. Alright, so that's not going to work. We're out. But you know what? I hate giving up. So we're going to open that. We are so close. And should be ending this stream in about 5 minutes, but we're going to go over just a couple of minutes here because I really want to touch this down on the runway tonight. So, in theory, we should be able to send a rescue mission within just 2 or 3 minutes here. If my right click will work, thank you. Pretty sure at this point that my son has destroyed this mouse. Boy, I'll tell you what though, this has been a rough evening on my poor space station. My next PlayStation, my next play session is going to be refueling this. Oh my god. Yeah, see, I don't use any mods. I do everything stock, and there are some mods that here in the near future I will be trying out, especially the ones like that do atmospheric and stuff like that. But for me, if I was to do MechJeb and take the flying out of it, that would kill the game for me. I actually enjoy. I enjoy doing the flying. I enjoy pulling myself out of a bind. A lot of people have there we go. A lot of people have commented about how it would drive them nuts trying to make the tiny little adjustments when flying space planes into orbit, and for me that's a lot of the fun of the game. Alright, so for those of you that have not seen it before, this is my little orbital shuttle. One of the very first things I ever built. Boy, and you can see it too. Right there it is. God, so close. That is just killer. Oh, I need to turn my thrusters on. There we go. So when you can't make it to the station for refueling, we'll bring the station to you. makes me sick. So close to the station. After everywhere we've been tonight, we've run out of fuel 10 kilometers away. And the sad part is too, this little guy should have enough to completely refuel that ship and get back to the station. Flip around for our final burn on the main engines here. For anyone that's not had a lot of practice doing rendezvous and docking, I do not suggest time warping when you're doing something like this. Even when you've played 6, 7, 800 hours like I have, I mean, you will still screw this up easily. Time warp and go right past it. So that's about as close as we're gonna get there. No problem, Worm. Thanks for joining. And by the way, there is video on demand for this being recorded. So if you want to see the runway attempt that I'm going to do here in a minute, feel free to check back on my Twitch page tomorrow, and this video will be in the highlights. Alright. There we go, 2 meters a second. Gotta roll here. So now what we'll do is just time warp a little bit, and then we'll readjust our trajectory and time warp again until we are right up on it. Once again, another suggestion: if you're new to docking, if you're new to rendezvous, normally what I suggest is match your speed to the target with your distance. Like I'm at 500 meters. I would recommend, if you're new to it, doing 0.5 meters a second. Things will creep up on you really fast doing this. When I started out, if I was 2 kilometers away, I'd do 2 meters a second. When I hit 1.5 kilometers distance, then I would do 1.5 meters a second, and so on. And that's just kind of a general rule of thumb that I use, just to be careful, because you hit the wrong thing at the wrong time, or if you're going too fast, things will sneak up on you, and that's when you hit your space station and kill 13 Kerbals in one massive explosion. Which, by the way, speaking of that story, now that we've got .25 in the new explosions, during one of my live streams, possibly even the 24-hour one, I am going to be recreating a couple of my greatest mess-ups. Alright. So start backing my speed off here because we're coming up on it awful quick. The space station one's going to be glorious. I think too I may deorbit the space station and watch it smash into Kerbin just for fun. Oh good, we are coming up on the side we need. Awesome. See, that still looks like we're a ways away, but we're actually very close to it now. We're going to set the docking port as the target, and at this point, honestly, I kind of fly manually when I get this close to an object for docking. Normally with this game, you never fly visually, you always fly by the nav ball. But for me personally, I found when doing docking, it's just easier for me to do it visually. And the only things I really use on the nav ball, I don't even really use the targeter, I just use the trajectory and the ship icon. And that just tells me, you know, where my trajectory is in accordance with the nose of the ship. Like right now, you know, the nose of the ship's pointing pretty much straight at the target, but I'm actually moving to the left and forward. Love you.